coming here today. I'm Police Chief Mike Bishop, and I'd like to welcome everyone to today's press conference. There's a couple people that I'd like to thank and introduce that are here today. I'd like to thank Brent Chambers, our Senior Special Agent in charge for the FBI out of the Tyler office. I'd like to introduce our Acting United States Attorney Brit Featherston, representing the U.S. Attorney's Office, and also Attorney Jim Middleton with the U.S. Attorney's Office as well for the Eastern District of Tyler. I'd like to introduce Carl Durrell with the Gregg County District Attorney's Office and Mark Milanovich with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and also thank our Mayor Andy Mack for being here today. The purpose of this press conference is threefold. I have three things that I'd like to talk about today. The first thing that I'd like to talk about is a December 19th, 2016 homicide that occurred in the 600 block of Duncan Street. The victim was Victoria Sams in that case. And today I'd like to announce that yesterday the Gregg County District Attorney through a Gregg County grand jury indicted a Christopher Pleasant for that murder, and he has been arrested on a murder warrant in connection with that murder of Victoria Sam. He is currently in the Harrison County Jail. The second item that I'd like to talk a little bit about is the Safe Streets Task Force through the Federal Bureau of Investigation. As you know, we participate in that program with the FBI. The mission of the Safe Streets Task Force is to identify and target for prosecution criminal enterprise groups responsible for drug trafficking, money laundering, alien smuggling, crimes of violence such as murder, aggravated assault, robbery, and violent street gangs, as well as the apprehension of dangerous fugitives where there is or may be a federal investigative interest. What I'm here to announce today is we have been participating with the FBI in that program. We have one detective that's assigned to that as a FBI task force officer, and we will be adding a second detective to that task force to help enforce our efforts in dealing with some of the drug-related crimes that we've been experiencing here. So we appreciate the FBI and our long-standing relationship with them, and this program has proved to be working very successful here in Longview. Secondly, I'd like to talk about an investigation that has been going on here in Longview since January of 2016. Today we're here to announce the indictment of 10 individuals on various ranges of federal charges. I think Christy has a copy of those 10 individuals. I won't read through each one. But she has a list of the 10 individuals that have been indicted, the charges that go with that. But just to kind of summarize this investigation over these 10 indictments, to kind of show you a little bit about what all occurred during the investigation. This investigation, investigators recovered over 4 kilograms of powdered cocaine, approximately 154 grams of methamphetamine, approximately 204 grams of crack cocaine, approximately 2,000 ecstasy tablets, 14 firearms. There were a total of 10 defendants, approximately $50,000 in cash seizures, and the total amount of drugs seized has a street value of over $1 million. So this investigation has culminated with the indictment of these 10 individuals. And at this time, I'd like to ask Brent if you'd like to speak a little bit about the Safe Streets program.
Sure. The Safe Streets Task Force is stationed out excuse me, out of Tyler, Texas. We have agents and task force officers from Longview Police Department that are participating in that. Basically, we're here to deter crime, to investigate, as the chief said, to do the organized crime activities, the bigger picture, the 30,000-foot view picture, and to take out the head of those organizations. That's what the agents from DPS, from Longview PD, and from the FBI are doing. We're adding another detective from Longview to that task force. That detective will be sworn in with Title 18 authority and Title 21 authority, which is basically the same authority that an FBI agent has. So we can take on and prosecute them federally, or we can prosecute them in the state system, whichever is more beneficial to the prosecution on that end. We're here to hopefully make Longview safer. We also feel on the citizen side that citizens have a right to live peacefully and freely. The kids shouldn't be scared to ride their bikes down the street, and that's what we want to make sure that we happen here. And so the chief has asked, and we gave him the position, we'll be able to give that person a car and pay for gas, things like that, to assist the citizens of Longview.
Good afternoon. I'm Brit Featherston. I'm the acting United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Texas. Today's announcement of these charges being filed, it just demonstrates to the citizens here, Gregg County and Longview, the coordination and the working together that federal law enforcement agencies like the FBI and other agencies, along with DPS, along with the Longview Police Department, Gregg County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies that join in these efforts. This is what they do. This is how they basically the fruits of their labor is when these individuals are going to be charged and eventually show up in court to answer for these accusations. I agree with Special Agent Chambers that all the citizens in Longview have the right to enjoy their streets and go about in their daily activities without having to worry about guns and drugs. And so this is just a warning that just to let you know that we don't sleep. The guys behind me, the law enforcement officers that you see in the room, this is what they do for a living. If you're going to deal drugs, if you're going to mess with guns in Longview, then we're coming after you, and you're going to pay the price, I promise you. So, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mayor Andy Mack. In Longview, we are working hard on improving our city, and today's announcement is proof that it is working. I applaud the efforts of the Longview Police Department, the FBI, ATF, DPS, DEA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and Gregg County Sheriff's Office, and the East Texas Area Safe Streets Task Force. Many people have suggested that the LPD utilize state and federal resources to help combat criminal activity. We have been doing and will continue doing that until crime is eradicated from our city. Longview is a great community. We have great law enforcement. We are a very safe place to live. Working together with neighbors, we will continue to do everything we can to make Longview safe across the entire community. With every arrest, with every charge, with every prison sentence, we're sending a clear message that if you are participating in criminal activity or concealing criminal activity by not reporting it, we are coming for you. So again, I am proud of the efforts that have taken place so far, and I'm looking forward to much more success. And I believe that success will come because of the great commitment and resolve that we have to address this problem. I can't say it enough. Thank you to the Longview Police Department, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and cooperation from you, our Longview residents. Thank you very much. We'll entertain any questions from the media. No.
So you mentioned the murder arrest for Victoria Sam's homicide and these drug-related arrests. Are they connected in any way, or is it just coincidence at the same time?
They're not connected in any way.
Can you tell us any more about Victoria Sam's murder? Was it drug-related?
Not at this point, other than what we just released.
Andy, you made this promise quite some time ago when you took office, Is this part of the big picture as you put this together with Mike and the department?
Yes, it is, Bob. As you can see, we continue to fight this battle, and it'll be an ongoing fight. But we're not giving up. We're not even considering relenting. This will be something that we will win. It will take time, but with our continued effort and support from the police officers, the men and women that give their life every day for our citizens of Longview, and the citizens of Longview that are cooperating more and more every day, this is coming together, and this is what you see. You see these indictments. We did the same thing a little over a year ago when we had, I think, 19 indictments. This continues to happen because more and more people are getting their trust in what we're doing, and they're getting on board. And when that happens, this continues to proceed, and we're going to continue to proceed till we get rid of the crime in Longview.
You talked about quite some time ago about, and Mike did too, about pulling resources from areas outside of the city to actually help. This is part of what you were talking about then, right?
This is federal, state, and local agencies all working together to combat this issue. And there are no more agencies involved. You've got federal, state, and local. That's what there is. We've recruited every resource we can to help in our community to combat this effort. And these gentlemen behind me have put in so much time and so much energy into helping us to make Longview a safer place to live. And we will continue that fight until we win this war. Thank you all very much for being here today.
One more.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
You had, I have a feeling that you really would have liked to have said this quite some time ago, but you couldn't. And that's, you actually said that at one point today. I'm going to tell you something just a little bit later.
You know, we try as best we can to be as transparent as possible with the public when it comes to public safety, but there are certain things that we cannot talk about until the appropriate time is there, such as, and Brent will say that's the timing is everything, and we don't try to hide anything from our community. We give you the information as it's available to us to present to you in the appropriate fashion, but there are certain things that we just cannot do to jeopardize investigations. I would love for Brent to come up.
One thing, these cases are very, very complex. We have analysts working on these in Washington, D.C. We have analysts in Tyler working on these cases, looking at all different aspects. Excuse me, like the chief said, like money laundering, things like that. We could go out and we could arrest a street dealer right now. That's not going to solve your problem. And I look at it like, you stick your finger in a bucket of water and pull it out, it fills up like that. These take time. We have to have, you're going to have patience. If you want us to take out these big organizations, it takes time. These agents are putting in countless hours doing this, but it's going to take time. We need the community effort. We need people to get involved. We need people to bring forth information to help the police department. That's the only way this is going to work. If we get citizen involvement, and Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if we could cut the case almost in half on some of them, but we have to have people get involved. You live here, get involved. We'll be more than willing to take information to help. We have, on the Fed side, we have budget set aside just for this, to purchase drugs, to purchase guns. We're doing what we can to take those off the street. And we're having a good impact, but it's going to take some time. And there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that the chief has been doing, and all of us have been, DPS, all of us have been doing. But be patient. It takes a lot of time. Okay. And that's why we have to get the bigger picture. Yes, sir.
Of the 10 indictments here, would it be fair to say that we took some major players out of the game with this?
I would say so. I'd say, but, we had a press conference several months ago where we announced, I think it was 17. This is just continuing. We're continuing. I would like to be, I would like to be out of a job, okay, if that's what it takes. But they're continual in Longview, in Tyler, in the areas that I cover, Texarkana down almost in Lufkin. It's a problem. It's a growing concern. And we're trying to isolate our resources where the biggest need is and where people are willing to cooperate. You know, the chief at Longview has been exceptional on cooperation. So if they ask for it, they're going to get it. And we're going to help them as much as we can. We're going to help the citizens of Longview. So any other questions?
One last question. I want to get the chief or maybe Andy Mack to talk about just what the city's doing to solve the remaining unsolved homicides that have taken place in recent years.
We're just still continuing to follow up on leads that come in. And like Brent just mentioned, you know, if there's individuals out there that have information, no matter how small you may think that information is, if you would contact us and provide that information to us, it could help move some of these investigations further.
I want to reiterate one more thing, as both the chief and the Brent and everybody have focused on. These investigations take time, they take cooperation. But in order to do what we're trying to do, which is cut the head off of the snake, you can't focus on the small hanging fruit all the time. You have to wait and do your homework and do the diligence that's required to go and get the people that matter. It's easy to replace the corner drug dealers. You arrest one of them, they replace them in an instant. We're trying to remove the people that are replacing the drug dealers on the corners to get the top of the chain. And that takes this type of concerted effort from all of these agencies from here to Washington, D.C. to be able to do that. So we don't get to come before you every 3 days and say we have 10 more federal indictments, because it doesn't happen like that. It takes time and it takes effort. So, but citizens of Longview, be patient and know that we're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never rest on this account. You can always count on the chief and the police department being there for you every step of the way. And I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.